You walk into a room, and almost instantly, you feel that something is off. No one is raising their voice, there is no visible drama, but your brain has already finished scanning everything. An avoided glance, a forced smile, a sentence that sounds perfectly normal but carries a heavy, hidden current of fake energy. Many people think this kind of observation is a superpower. They call it a wonderful gift. But if you live with it, you know the truth. This sharp awareness is actually a psychological trap. The problem is that your brain has no off switch. You cannot just enjoy the moment. You take the moment home. You pick it apart, analyze it, and replay it in your head again and again. You are the kind of person who can turn one small silence into an entire universe of thoughts. It is not just an intelligence issue, it's about constantly seeing the hidden layers of meaning that other people walk right past. Today, we are going to decode the psychology of the over-aware mind, and more importantly, we will explore how you can stop being swallowed by your own awareness. To find peace, we first have to dig into the origin of this invisible weight. Why did you become like this? Empirical psychology divides this phenomenon into two main groups. For the first group, this sensitivity is simply inborn. Science calls it the trait of a highly sensitive person, or HSP. You carry what is known as sensory processing sensitivity. From the moment you were born, your nervous system operated like an ultra-fine filter. It automatically absorbs and feels everything more intensely than usual. For you, the world always appears in extremely high resolution. But for the second group, over-awareness is not something you were born with. It's an inheritance of survival. Neuroscience calls this state hypervigilance. It often takes root in an emotionally unstable environment in the past, usually during childhood. Imagine a child growing up in a house where the mood of the adults changes like the weather. That child cannot live innocently. They have to learn how to become a radar station. Perhaps you were the kind of child who memorized the exact sound of car tires rolling into the garage just to know whether it was safe to speak. You learned to hear the sound of a kitchen cabinet shutting and measure exactly how angry someone was. You knew exactly when to step into the living room and smile, and when to disappear quietly into the walls. Biologically speaking, your amygdala, the brain's danger alarm, was constantly activated. It recorded a permanent message. This environment is not safe. I have to keep scanning to avoid danger. No one taught you this. Your nervous system automatically built a network of neurons to help you predict emotional disasters before they happen. Over time, that survival vigilance transformed into awareness. It grew so deep that it became part of your identity. Now, as an adult, you look back and blame yourself. You ask, why do I always overthink? Something must be wrong with me. But no, you are not broken. You are simply carrying a kind of intelligence that was shaped by survival. The shield that once protected you has now fused into your skin. So, how does this massive awareness actually show up in your daily life? Sign 1. Living in constant analysis mode. This is the clearest sign, and the one that consumes the most energy. For a typical person, a conversation is just a conversation. But for you, your mind is always running a hidden equation. Imagine your boss sends a message at 4 p.m. saying, "Come see me for a minute later." For other people, that is simply a meeting, but the moment you read it, a wave of tension floods your body. You sense an invisible coldness in the wording. You instantly begin questioning yourself. Did I mess something up? Part of this phenomenon is related to the activity of your default mode network, or DMN. This is the brain system involved in reflection and self-referential thinking. In most people, the DMN is active mainly during daydreaming, but in you, this network rarely powers down. Half of you is nodding, smiling, holding a cup of coffee, but the other half is taking notes, comparing details, and analyzing everything. You can feel exhausted after simply sitting in a chair all day because your brain just finished running a hidden marathon. Sign 2. Hyper self-awareness. In psychology, metacognition is the ability to think about your own thinking. Controlled by the prefrontal cortex, it is a normal human trait, but for you, it is a switch that never turns off. You do not just feel an emotion, you monitor it. An emotion appears, you analyze it, and then you judge it. You feel sad, but instead of simply crying, you cross your arms and ask, "Why am I sad? I have a good job. I shouldn't feel empty. I am terrible for feeling this way." Even your joy gets dissected. You laugh at a joke, but a second later, a part of your mind is floating near the ceiling, looking down, asking, "Did I laugh too loudly? Did that sound fake?" Your depth of awareness increases, but your natural presence slowly disappears. Sign 3. Losing innocence in relationships. Deep awareness makes you see the backstage of human behavior. Psychology calls this a hyperactive theory of mind, the ability to infer other people's intentions. You realize people don't always say what they mean. A coworker praises your project, but your brain immediately scans for motives. What favor do they want? You realize that affection is sometimes a calculated investment. You realize that confidence is often just a curtain hiding the fear of rejection. This creates a quiet kind of loss. It is the loss of relational innocence. The ability to fully trust the surface of words is simply gone. Sign 4. Empathy that is always switched on. For you, empathy is not a skill you choose to use when a friend is crying. It is a state you cannot escape. You walk into a quiet meeting room and you can feel the physical weight of irritation between two people. Your mind works like absorbent paper. Science calls this cognitive empathy, but you cross the line into emotional empathy. Because of highly active mirror neurons, when you see someone expressing emotion, your brain activates as if you are experiencing it yourself. A friend talks about their divorce, and after they go home, that pain sits in your chest for 3 days. You become the emotional regulator for everyone around you. People like being near you because they feel understood, but the price is your own exhaustion. You become a container for other people's emotional waste. Sign 5. When awareness becomes anxiety. Awareness doesn't exist in the mind, it lives in the body. Science calls this interoception, the ability to sense the internal state of your body processed by the insular cortex. You drink a cup of coffee, your heart beats faster. For most people, that feels like energy, but your nervous system detects the change, flips through its survival records, and shouts, "Fast heartbeat equals danger." Normal physical sensations become exaggerated warning signals. Your mind searches for a way to control the environment to prevent pain. You start running endless simulations in the background. What if they leave? What if I lose this? How will I survive if it falls apart? You try to stay ahead of pain, but the cruelest result is that you slowly step outside of your own life. Protection replaces presence. So what can you do? You can't simply turn off your awareness. Asking you to stop noticing things is like asking someone with perfect vision to purposefully see the world as blurry. The solution is not to become less aware. The solution is to stop carrying everything. In psychotherapy, this means adjusting your cognitive boundaries. You must learn how to notice things but refuse to absorb them. You can anchor yourself in 3 freeing principles. First, not every silence is a hidden message. If someone replies slowly, sometimes they're simply exhausted. If a coworker doesn't smile, maybe they just have a headache. You have to learn to depersonalize the environment. Second, not every emotion requires an action. When anxiety shows up, don't rush to analyze why. Simply observe it. My heart is beating fast. It's just a physical sensation. Let it pass without judgment. Third, not every insight needs to be acted upon. You may see someone's insecurity clearly, but you do not have to become their therapist. You may notice a flaw in a relationship. Sometimes the wisest response is simply to step back. Clarity is only a gift when it comes with boundaries. When you practice this kind of letting go, something remarkable happens. Your awareness doesn't disappear. It softens. It matures. You still see deeply into human nature, but you no longer cling to the flaws of others. You still feel the energy of a room, but you are no longer pulled into its current. You move from using awareness to predict danger to using awareness to be beautifully present. You move from fear to curiosity. Instead of analyzing whether a smile is fake, you simply enjoy the sunlight and the taste of your coffee. Life becomes lighter, not because the world becomes less complicated, but because you stop trying to carry every equation of the world on your shoulders. You can't turn off the ceiling light in your mind, but you can change its intensity. You can turn it from a sharp, clinical laser that exposes every flaw into a warm candle. A candle bright enough to understand human fragileness, yet gentle enough to warm yourself.
If people ever look at you and notice your quietness, understand that it is not indifference. It is a beautiful form of wisdom, a wisdom that has learned to understand life instead of being imprisoned by it. If this feels familiar to you, if you see yourself somewhere in this world of over-awareness, leave a comment about the sign that fits you the most. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. The depth you carry is not a flaw. It is a profound gift, waiting for your own compassion. If this video helped you feel a little lighter today, please press like and share it with a friend who might be tired of the noise from a mind that never truly rests. Your understanding might be exactly the comfort they need. Thank you for watching until this moment. Take a deep breath, let go of the weight, and I will see you next time.